This is just another example of how we are raising snowflakes. Because, I mean, if you honestly can't make it in college, then just drop out. I mean, well, although I know a lot of people want to take advantage of the freebies, but just drop out anyway. Do us all a favor. I don't think animal rights activists would be too proud of this either. I wouldn't want any college student manhandling my cat.
Yeah, but Kaylee, I don't think these kids need cats. I think they need discipline. I think they need a slap in the face. Because these are the same kids that get a professor fired for being too hard on their way to medical school.
Point.
These are kids that can't even listen to a conservative viewpoint. They shout out speakers. They chase them off campus. But a cat will make everything better. Guess what? That doesn't work in the real world.
Yeah, you're talking.
Well, technically, I think that there are like tens of millions of people whose lives are improved on a daily basis, full adults, by cats and dogs and other pets. I think that's actually the whole point of pets. I think people get pets because they think it'll make their life better. Has she never had a pet? But anyway, there was a lot of misinformation there. All of that, by the way, was in response to a story that animals are brought to college campuses to relieve stress and depression caused by tests and stuff. If you're thinking, wait, that's not a new thing, they've been doing that for years. Yeah, they have. And Fox has probably been losing their mind over it for literally years. It bothers them deeply that somewhere, someone is taking their mental health and emotional well-being seriously and taking even small steps to improve their quality of life. Instead, Fox News would prefer that they get slapped across the face. They apparently think that people are getting too many freebies in college, which costs tens of thousands of dollars a year. Doesn't really seem free to me. But anyway, all of this, JR, is because they're playing with a dog or a cat. I understand that it is difficult to fill a news rundown when you are not allowed by your mission statement to acknowledge any of the actual problems facing America. But I don't think the cats and dogs thing is a big issue. And I kind of like that the younger generations take their emotional well-being kind of seriously.
Yeah, what's the conclusion here? What are they trying to convey? Like you said, filling a news rundown.
Kids suck.
You probably have a production meeting. I assume they go, you guys, you know what, today we're gonna bash on people who enjoy their pets. Because you know what, that's what our viewers are all about. What do these folks do with their pets? One of them says she has a cat. What does she do when she get home? Hey, you bastard. What are you doing here? And kicks him across the room. That's a good day. Now I feel better. If nothing else, even if that's your emotional support because you like to abuse animals, I guess that's what makes you happy. That's another form of your, I guess, animal companionship that you have. By the way, so that was Outnumbered, I think, right? I think the teaser that we cut off there was next on Outnumbered. People bring pets into children's hospitals to visit with children who are down because they're sick. How dare they? It's weird how pets actually help people with their moods when they're in a bad spot. No matter what the bad spot is, if you hate because people go to college and maybe it's tough sometimes, what do you expect people to do?
Yeah.
What robots are they thinking that they're talking to? All these folks that they think they're complaining to are down, they're complaining. They said America has to come back. Aren't they complaining and sad and depressed? Shouldn't we tell them to shut up?
Well, clearly they understand having emotional problems. I just witnessed a woman say that kids should be hit for being stressed out. So they understand what it's like to have emotional or psychological problems. They're demonstrating it on air. But look, I want TDR to be more productive, more helpful. So I'm gonna briefly explain how emotional service animals, like you saw in the video, actually work. By the way, it's a type of assistance animal prescribed by a licensed mental health professional or general practitioner. They provide support to individuals living with a mental or emotional disability. Now, most of these programs at colleges are not actually that. They just bring in some animals for someone to briefly play with as a way of relieving stress. But there's actually two different ways that emotional support animals can work. The first is like you saw in the video, cats and dogs or whatever. You know, they're around you, they can sense your behaviors, your moods, you play with them, you pet them, you bond with them. That's the most common way that these work. The other way is, can you put up the video with no sound, actually, just as B-roll of that video? There's a different sort of emotional support animal, and generally it's most popular amongst elderly conservatives. And what it does is you don't pet it, you're not actually allowed to touch it. They'd call that assault. They go on TV and they tell you that everything about you is great. You're right about everything. And the people you like and trust, especially politicians, have never ever lost. They're never unpopular. Their plans never don't work out. And if they seem to lose an election, it's probably Hugo Chavez's fault. It's not actually them. They can't lose. You don't have to ever trust anything a scientist or a doctor says. That's a different form of emotional support animal. You can see 5 of them on display right there. These emotional support animals are allowed on couches and chairs, as you can see. And what they do is they come out and they make old white conservatives feel better about the world. And if you're scared because you don't understand something young people are doing, or there's a culture you don't really get, they will make you feel reassured and comfortable to hate those people rather than be anxious about your own state and all of that. It's not as popular on college campuses, but it's actually streaming live right now. You can go on TV and you can watch it pretty much 24/7, JR.
Can you imagine the rage on these people's faces when they see someone who's blind and is trying to cross the street and has an animal that helps assist, a vision assist dog? I'm not even sure the term, but it doesn't matter. They shouldn't exist. As a matter of fact, if you see one, take it from that person and make sure that they pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Maybe you should slap them on the way out. Be like, what are you doing? Start seeing.
They should be hit instead. They want freebies. They want to be able to walk.
But the thing is, they can believe that someone is blind or has vision issues because they trust that, because I guess it's been established enough. But you mentioned mental health professionals talk about how this actually helps people, but they like to dismiss that, mental health professionals. So they'll always dismiss folks that they want to make sure are separate from any discussions that allow us to be humans.
Yeah.
Except them, of course, because as you point out, there's lots of emotional issues with these folks.
100%. Yeah, and look. Their business model is to have their audience be broken. That's what they want. They want them to have psychological and emotional problems. They want them to be ignorant and afraid and full of hate. That's what they want, because those people will keep tuning in every single day to have a picture of someone put up and then told that's the person you're supposed to hate. That's the person you're supposed to be afraid of. Okay, that's what they want.
And desperate afterwards.
Yeah.
To do something about it.
Whereas a dog, you can just pet it and you'll feel a little bit better. Like, it works, it actually works. If you bring up this chart, we'll close on this. They're very successful, actually. When you spend time with an emotional support animal, it is incredibly successful in achieving its goals. And everyone watching this with a pet, I'm sure, can attest to that. This should not be controversial. I don't know how you can get 5 millionaires in a room and put them in front of a TV camera and have them not understand that pets make things better. What a weird way to look at the world.
John, that chart was put up by CertaPet, which is obviously a wing of the White House in the Biden.
Yeah. I think in CDC, the first C is CertaPet. I don't trust it.